Okay, welcome back to the Lexicata Getting Started video series. In this video, we're going to be going through the form builder and showing you how to build your own online intake forms in Lexicata, which you can send out to your clients to have them fill out or fill out internally in order to update data in your database. So let's go here to the forms page. And then you'll want to click on the form builder tab up here at the top. And this is kind of an isolated little area of Lexicata that's specifically used just to build these intake form templates and manage them. So you'll see by default you have one general intake form which we give you. This is kind of just to give you an idea of how the forms work and how you can create and edit them. For the purposes of this video, we're going to start from scratch and create a brand new form. So just go ahead and click the Create New Form button in the top, and it's going to open up the form editor interface here. And so basically on the left side, you're going to see a list of field options. So these are all the different types of fields you can add to your form. These are kind of the inputs that the person filling out the form will use to provide the information. Then on the right side, you'll see the actual current form that you have created. At the top, you have a title and some instructions. Let's just put in bankruptcy intake form. You can put instructions, please fill this out, get it back to us before your consultation, or whatever you want to include. The client will be able to just read these instructions at the very top of the form when they're filling it out. I'll just go ahead and leave it blank in the interest of saving time. And then we're going to start adding fields to our form so that we can get all the information we need regarding this bankruptcy. So the first field you're probably always going to want to add to a form is going to be this contact information block. So with one click, it'll add this entire block to the form, as you can see here. It has, by default, their first and last name, email, the company, street address, city, state, zip, and all their phone numbers. The nice thing about this block of fields is that it connects automatically to the primary contact of the matter. So when you send this form out, not to the primary contact, it connects automatically to the contact who you send the form to within the matter. So if you send it to the primary contact, it will update that contact when they update these fields. If you send it to a different contact, it will update the other contact. But basically the fields are connected to the contact that receives and fills out the form. So they have the ability to update their own contact information in the system. Again, reducing or eliminating data entry on behalf of the law firm. So nice feature there. And just keep that in mind. At this time, you can only add one contact info block. So you'll see it's kind of checked off there. You cannot add another block of contact fields to the form. So it's only the person filling out the form is the only contact that can be updated when it submits. Okay, so let's go ahead and just one at a time we'll add each of these fields and I'll explain how they work. Let's do a single line text. So as you can imagine, it's just a text field and it's intended for short answers, a single word or a single sentence. Let's just use social security number as the example here. So you can just click Save Question if you're done, and that will basically add the field to the form. You'll see this is the label, social security number that I typed in. It'll give them a single line text box because this is a single line text question. And this is where the client or the person filling out the form will be able to type in a response to this question. You can go back and edit the question again later if you needed, or you can click Remove to take it off the form. Also, you'll notice this question settings option. There's a few things you can do here as well. So you can make questions required. This means the person filling out the form will not be able to submit the form unless they answer this question. So if they try to submit and that question's blank, it won't let them submit and it'll say, oops, you skipped a field. So this is a good option to use if it's something really important that you need every person to fill out. You can also add tips. You could either explain the question in more detail, maybe define some terminology that the person might not be familiar with. Whatever you want, you can just add some tip text. Maybe I'll just say, we keep all sensitive client information secure, something like that. The last thing you can do here with the question settings is connect an answer to a custom field. So this is going to be one of the most powerful features of Lexicata, completely eliminating data entry for the firm, because you can basically send out an intake form to a client and have them update your custom fields for you when they submit the form. So let's go ahead and show you how this works as well. If you want to connect a particular question to a custom field, you just check the box, and then you basically select which custom field it should connect to. So you can choose from any of your contact custom fields or your matter custom fields, which I showed you in a previous video how to set those up. This one would be a contact custom field. So we'll check that or click on that box there. And then there's a drop-down menu where you just select which field this should connect to. Looks like I actually have duplicate social security number fields. I'm going to choose this SSN field because I believe that field also connects to Clio. So the other nice thing if you're a Clio user is that you can have clients auto-populate data into Clio by connecting your Clio custom fields, which are in Lexicata as well, to your intake forms. So I'm going to connect it to that SSN field. I saved my question settings. You'll see it added the tip text here. It added an asterisk indicating that the question is required, and it added this little green link icon which shows that this question is now connected to a custom field. So pretty cool. That's basically how the single line text questions work. I'm going to click save, and then we'll go ahead and move on. So next question type is paragraph text. These work almost exactly the same as single line text. The difference is it gives the person a larger text box to type into when they're filling out the form. So maybe we can say, since this is bankruptcy, we'll just say describe all your current sources of debt. Save question, and you'll notice it gives them this larger text area so they can type in a longer, more detailed response. And again, you have the same question settings up here if you wanted to add a tip, maybe for example, credit cards, mortgages, loans, etc. All right, and you can make it required. We'll go ahead and do that as well. Save. Okay. Multiple choice. So multiple choice are nice for a few different reasons. Mainly, it's nice to control the inputs you get from a particular question. So these are great when there's a particular answer that you're looking for, and there's a defined list of answer options to choose from. So maybe we'll just say, are your debts related to a business or to yourself, as an individual? Okay, and so that's going to be your question text, and now you can basically add your list of multiple choice answer options. And they'll only be able to choose one of these options, so that's important. So you could say business, personal, or both. So we'll add 3 different answer choices for them to select from. Again, you have the question settings. You can make the question required or add a tip. The other thing you can do with multiple choice, which is really nice, is add follow-up questions based on the answer they choose. So each answer option has this add follow-up button next to it. So let's say they select business. I can add a follow-up if they select business that will not show up if they select something else. It's only going to show up if they select business. And we could just say, name of business, let's just say. And you have a few different question type options for follow-up questions. You can do single line text, paragraph, or you can also do file attachments. Let's just leave that one as a single line text. And these follow-up questions can also be connected to custom fields and have tips as well. So pretty handy feature there. So that's kind of how the multiple choice questions work. You can add as many answer options as you want. They can choose a single answer option. And just so you're aware, the multiple choice answer options can only connect to single line text custom fields. So if you do want to connect these to a custom field, basically whichever answer they select, that text of the answer option will populate a single line text custom field. So just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and click Save Question. You'll notice the follow-up question is sort of indented beneath the answer it corresponds to. All right, next question type is going to be checkbox. So checkbox questions are similar to multiple choice in that you have a predefined list of answer options. The difference is they can select multiple answer options, so they can select more than one, or they can select none. So you don't have the ability to make checkbox questions required, you'll notice, and that is because they technically can submit it without selecting any of the options. So these are good for a situation where you want them to select all that apply. So I'm going to put that in as a tip. And for the question, let's just say, list the types of properties you own which you owe debt on. All right, so we'll click to add a couple of checkbox options here. We could just say, automobile, personal residence, investment property, and so on. So the idea here is they might own all of these, they might own one or none, so they can choose any combination of these by clicking the checkboxes, and it'll basically just submit whichever ones they've selected as the answers. Unfortunately, you cannot connect checkbox questions to custom fields at this time, so just be aware of that. But it is nice in any situation where you kind of have a select all that apply type of question. Okay, the next option, or the next type of question, is going to be a drop-down. This is almost exactly the same as multiple choice. The only difference here is that you don't have the ability to do the follow-up questions. And so these are best used if you have a long list of options to choose from, because they're going to be hidden within a drop-down menu rather than kind of listed all out directly on the page. So, like if, for example, you were doing, what state is your debt located in or something like that, and you needed to have all 50 states. It would take you quite a while to make this, but it would be a good situation to use a drop-down so you don't have to list all 50 down the page. You can just kind of hide them within a drop-down menu. Okay, so I'll just do a few. Section break. So this is a nice type of field that's not going to be an input for the person to fill out, but it is a nice way to divide up the form into different sections. So each section can have its own heading. So we'll just say, information about your debt, and you can have your own instructions for that section. The instructions are not required again, but you can, if you needed to explain, these questions will ask about your sources of debt or something. You could do that. All right, let's go ahead and click Save Section. You'll notice it has this larger text block here that you can use, again, to divide up the form and make it just easier to read. All right, so that's section breaks. The last three here, next one is going to be file attachments. This is a really great, handy feature, and you can basically send out a request for the person to send you back a file which they can attach to the form, and it'll be submitted into your Lexicata account and saved along with the matter in the Files tab. So you could say, attach a copy of your mortgage agreement, something like that. And you'll notice it just gives them an attachment button. So you can't make these required, unfortunately, but it is a very nice way to get files back that you need. They can just upload them and submit it, and it'll come directly in your Lexicata account. So you don't have to deal with email attachments and going back and forth, things like that. It's all right here as part of the intake form. The last one's here, date. Let's just say, date of birth is always a good example. Basically, it functions like a single line text box, except you can use like a date picker to select a date from a calendar. And again, you can do question settings. Let's go ahead and connect this one to a custom field as well. It looks like I have two again. I'm going to do the birthday one. I believe that is the one that's connected to Clio. All right, save that. Finally, we have yes or no. Yes or no is identical to multiple choice. The only difference here is you only have the options of yes or no as the answer, so it's kind of just a quicker way to make a multiple choice question if it's a yes/no question. So let's say, have you filed for bankruptcy in the past? And again, you can do the follow-up questions on these. So if they say yes, you could say, previous case number. If they say no, you don't ask any follow-ups. And again, I'm going to connect this one to a custom field. So the yes/no questions connect to checkbox custom fields. Again, those are just a single checkbox field. So if it's checked, it's yes. If it's not checked, it's no. But there you'll see the one I created previously, which is previous bankruptcy, and we'll click save. So if they answer yes, it's going to basically check the box for that custom field and say, yes, I've filed for bankruptcy in the past. Okay. So that's all the different field types you have on the intake forms. You can see it's pretty intuitive and easy to make these. The other thing you can do here is drag and drop to move questions around. So I'm going to move this information about your debt heading right up here. And I'm going to move the date of birth question up here to the top beneath the contact information and near the social security number. So yeah, that's how easy it is to make an intake form in Lexicata, and these are also very easy to fill out, which we will be showing you in another video. So make sure you always click Save and Preview as well, which will save your form that you just created, and it'll show you a nice little preview of how it will look. You'll notice it has your letterhead at the top with your logo and your law firm information, and here's all the fields you can see, and it'll kind of show you how they would look to the person filling out the form. So that wraps up this video on the Lexicata form builder. We hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot. In the next video, I'll be showing you how to send out and fill out these intake forms and how we can update data in the system for you.